I apologize. I totally missed last week. I was in San Diego for the whole week celebrating my younger sister's, let's say, graduation. It was more of a credential program, but you know what? It was a graduation. Not necessarily a master's degree, but pretty much the same thing. So I did not do my recording review last week. Deep and sincere apologies. I almost didn't even do it this week. It's Friday, and I nearly missed it again, but I don't want to miss it. I want to keep honest to it. I think that it is important for me to continually grow, continually work on my conversation, my ability to take the ideas, bring them to words, and communicate with others. I think I've done pretty good, honestly. In the past couple of weeks, I have very much improved on the different filler words that I have been using. I have eliminated a lot of the standard issue stuff. They still come and go. They bother me when I do hear me say them, but we're improving. Let's keep it at it, though. I think it's something that I'm just going to have to keep focusing on. I want to move on to other things, but at this point, I think I still need to ensure that I am not creating words, creating moments in my speech that are not of great value. So we're going to continue after it. With that being said, I want to focus on a different topic today. I'm going to keep doing these recording reviews, but I want to talk about things a little bit off the cuff, stuff that I've been thinking about, stuff that I've been contemplating deeply and realizing more and more about the natural world all around us. And today I want to talk about cold approaches. So, cold approaches definition. There is a person that you want to go speak with, and you have no preconception of who they are. There's very little common ground. I recently did a blog post about making friends, and I talked through what I believe is this sort of 5-step process to actually make a friend. I have since exercised that process and had great success just by following the steps, and it works great. But there are a couple of different steps that I've acknowledged that are challenging for me. The first step is probably the hardest out of all of them, which is making the first move. Whether that is striking up a conversation with the person or even just getting up and going over to them is tough for me, really tough. And specifically if the environment is not necessarily one that happens in often. So there's two sides of the spectrum. You've got the gym where nobody wants to be talked to. Everyone's got headphones in, they're dialed in, they're working out, they're doing their stuff. They don't want to be talked to. Men and women generally, they go to the gym with a very specific intention and they are hoping to accomplish a very specific goal. And that is to lift weights and get stronger, push themselves. They don't need a distraction. They don't need anybody else to talk to them. 90% of the people who go to the gym that I go to have headphones in, which I respect, but sort of wish wasn't the case. The gym culture has changed a lot in the past decades that weightlifting, bodybuilding have been a thing. So, not much to do about that. On the other side of the spectrum, you have bars. Places that people go to interact with others and have a good time. They're not focused on any particular task at hand other than enjoying themselves. So they're much more open. Their body image, their outward expression is an open expression, and they're willing to make friends. So making friends at a bar, easy peasy. Making friends at the gym, pretty tough. Cold approaching person at the gym, cold approaching people at the bar, completely different environments. One's very easy, one's not. And then there are middle ground places, say the park or the grocery store, which I would say the grocery store is a little bit closer to bar, where people don't really normally go to the grocery store with headphones in, and they're often more eager to strike up a conversation with a random than at maybe a coffee shop or a library or the park. So there's this spectrum of places that it's okay to reach out and talk to people. But how do you do it? What's the way? How do you actually go up and make that first initial contact with somebody? And so it's something that I've been thinking about a lot recently. And I know my 5 minutes is up, but I think I'm going to keep going because I need to get this idea out there. And I've talked to a couple of people about it today in the past few days, and I'd like to verbalize it. There has been a lot of cultural changes in the past decade, even, that have made human on human interaction in particular third places more challenging, especially if it's with romantic intention. I have felt this personally and seen it personally, and it is something that I want to overcome the challenge of, to honestly connect with more people. That's it. I mean, at some point, I imagine following the 5 step process and trying my best to make a friend out of random people that you find out there, or more than a friend. But realistically, I'm interested in human connection. How can I make a connection with the random person? And I don't know if there's a great 5 step process that is different than one that I've already engaged in and blogged about. I think it's really most important to analyze the first step. How do you make that approach? And the approach is greatly dictated by confidence of yourself and the understanding of whether or not that individual has any desire to be approached. Some places people go and with the expectation that they're going to be approached. Other places they don't. And I don't think that means that it's completely off limits, but I do honestly appreciate that it makes it a lot more difficult. So I've thought about it. I think that my weakness is reading the situation. I look at people, I see something nice about them, I want to go up and compliment them, for instance. How do I figure out whether or not they're going to be receptive for that compliment? I mean, I've got to read them, right? There's no other way to do it. I've got to take a look at them, see whether or not they have like an open expression that they are willing, or closed expression. If I look at them, they look at me, we make eye contact, I need to maintain that contact for at least a moment and to read their expression. Are they happy to have me looking at them, or are they uninterested? Is there a immediate shudder? Is there an openness that comes from that eye contact? I imagine there's a bunch of other indications and signals that I can read, but I just don't know them right now. I simply don't know them because I haven't really been in the practice of cold approaching people. So I'm going to take some time, learn what those different signals are, and see if I can push myself, which I have been doing for the past couple of weeks socially, to read those things off of people. There is a good chance that I will get shut down plenty of times. There's a chance that I can make some friends that way. Either way, I just want to get more comfortable talking with people. So we'll see how it goes. Cold approaching. Very interesting. I think most people right now in our society, in my generation and younger generations, that is just out of the question. Doesn't happen, won't happen, and generally people are not open and receptive to it. But let's find out. Let's find out for science. Let's find out for James's ability to socialize. Let's find out, because I posted a help wanted ad for friends, but nobody's applied yet. No, I'm just kidding. Some people have applied, but that's beside the point. Sometimes you got to go out and recruit friends. So that's what we want to do, and not always are they in places that you're going to be immediately capable of making a friendship because there's some common ground, or it's an environment that is more dedicated to creating those friendships. So plenty of people out there, plenty of opportunities to interact with them. Just gotta read them, figure out whether or not they want to interact with you, and then make the move. Jump right in and practice. Practice makes perfect. So next couple of weeks, that's what we're gonna do. We're going to do our best to put ourselves out there. That's the goal. So we'll do it. We'll see how it goes. We'll update you on these recording reviews, very likely. But I appreciate you sticking around with me with a couple extra minutes. I know I ran over my 5, but I just wanted to get all those ideas out there. Hopefully I'll have some success. Alrighty, we'll see you next week.